Imagine a company like Cognizant with thousands and thousands of employees was stuck in a intellectual property case in India, and they cannot use their latest global logo in India.
Why is that?
But why should you pay it for free? Why should any designer give anything for free?
Right.
आप कभी मेडिसिन वाले से तो जाके नहीं बोलते मुझे दवाई दिखा दो, अगर काम करी तो मैं पैसे दे दूंगा. स्कूल से तो नहीं बोलते कि अगर मेरा बच्चा कुछ बन गया तो मैं आपको पैसे दे दूंगा, नहीं तो नहीं. एंड नॉट जस्ट अ चैट जीपीटी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. इन आवर टाइम्स देयर वर नो चैट जीपीटी, बट नाउ पीपल थिंक दैट अ चैट जीपीटी ड्रॉन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज अ गुड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. नो, इट इज नॉट. It has to be a fair contract. It has to help both the parties, and it has to draw a number of limitations on number of iterations. Who holds the intellectual property? How would payment be released? What happens if it is not released? All of those things. So my co-founder Akshat he has helped me learn a design a lot. He's taught me कि प्रशांत हम लोगो बना रहे हैं, हमने जब तक 100 iterations नहीं बना दी ना, तब तक everything that is coming around is inspired by something or the other.
इवन हमारे फील्ड में भी, आर्किटेक्चर में भी हर साल कॉलेजेस बंद हो रहे हैं. 50% सीट खाली जा रही है. अब उसका बेस जाएंगे तो बहुत सारे रीजंस हैं, बट रियलिटी है ये.
I was reading this. In fact, मैं आज दिन में किसी को कोट कर रहा था. Last year or last to last year, IIT Bombay had unplaced candidates. So if IIT IIMs would face a situation like this, then who else will get a job?
तो आप काम कैसे करते हैं? कंपनी रीच्ड यू, उन्होंने ब्रीफ बताया हमें ये क्राइटेरिया चाहिए, then you post on public platform.
We may or may not, as on date. This is one very important thing that designers should know. That in India, we live in a scenario जहाँ पे सबकी timeline is yesterday already और budget is negative. कह रहे पैसे तो है ही नहीं, आप काम करके दे जाओ पैसे हमें.
तिजोरी बनाना, उसमें कुछ डाल के भी जाना.
हाँ.
सर, तो कब स्टार्ट किया था आपने अपना, और आपका एजुकेशनल बैकग्राउंड क्या था?
एजुकेशनल बैकग्राउंड तो मेरा बहुत टॉप सीटर भी है. I graduated in investment banking. Then I went for post graduation in branding and communications, and then I did strategic management from Kozhikode. So I was never of an opinion or an idea कि कभी मैं ऐसे डिज़ाइन में जाऊँगा. I'm totally an accidental one. In fact, कभी सोचा ही नहीं था दूर दूर तक. डिज़ाइन was never something that I thought I'll be doing. तो बेसिकली हुआ क्या, मैं पूरी स्टोरी बताता हूँ. काइंड ऑफ
बस यही सुनना था.
बेसिकली जब पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन करके निकले तो जस्ट लाइक एनी टिपिकल बनिया फैमिली, इट वाज मोर लाइक कि बिजनेस करेंगे, अपना बिजनेस है. एंड फॉर 4 generations वी हैव बीन इनटू पेपर एंड पैकेजिंग. तो व्हाट एल्स इज नीडेड? देयर इज अ स्टेडी सोर्स ऑफ इनकम. देयर इज leverage in terms of you can come and go whatever time you want. Life is easy, life is so cool, everything that you have been brought up with. But very soon you realize that what you are actually doing can also be done by a 40,000 का मैनेजर. क्योंकि ऐसा तो है नहीं कि your father had 100 crore extra कि जब बेटा आएगा तो कुछ अलग से कुछ कर लेंगे. It was all in the business, and it never was something कि मेरे को कुछ देखना है, but I was just have to take over Papa gradually. The business was paper trading, which was stocking and intending, and as well as corrugation box manufacturing. तो it was never so lucrative me in terms of, क्योंकि मैं डैड से हमेशा ये सवाल पूछता था कि आई एम श्योर अगर हम लोग आज बंद कर दें या हम लोग मर जाएं तो ये लोग कहीं और से लेने लगेंगे. कोई पॉइंट ही नहीं है ना, मेरा यूनिक क्रिएशन कुछ भी नहीं है इसमें. सो देयर इज नो वे माय नेम इज गोना लिव मोर देन आई डू. नेवर द आइडिया. तो सबसे पहले मैंने घर में बोला कि मुझे सबैटिकल चाहिए. अब एक तो बनिया फैमिली में समझाना कि सबैटिकल क्या होता है इज अ पेन, क्योंकि फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्स दे हैड इज तुम्हें 10-12 दिन कहीं घूमियो यूरोप घूमियो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। मैं कहा नहीं, ये सबैटिकल नहीं होता है। सबैटिकल इज अ लॉन्गर ड्यूरेशन वेयर आई नीड टू थिंक। इट जस्ट कांट बी कि मेरे को 2 दिन 4 दिन कहीं छुट्टी पे जाना है, दैट इज नॉट। एंड ड्यूरिंग फिर किसी तरह उनको समझाया। माई पेरेंट्स ऑलवेज हैव बीन वेरी वेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग, वे अहेड ऑफ टाइम। उनको कभी ऐसा कोई प्रेशर नहीं था लाइफ में कि कुछ ये करना है, वो कराना है, ऐसा होना ज़रूरी है, समाज क्या कहेगा, नेवर। तो दैट इज़ व्हेन वन ऑफ पापा's friend was coming up with a salon, and I'm talking about back in 2008-9 types, when India was shifting from the typical Nike dukan to premium and proper salons in the country. That was the time the uncle decided that he'll start a salon in Sector 63, Noida. That was the first time he said that, Prashant, if you are free, join me. तो मैं कहा मुझे तो कुछ भी नहीं पता सैलून के बारे में। तो मैं कहा मुझे भी नहीं पता, बट ट्राई करते हैं, लेट्स डू इट। दैट वाज माय फर्स्ट इंटरेक्शन विद लॉट ऑफ एजेंसीज, बी इट इंटीरियर डिज़ाइन, बी इट मार्केटिंग, बी इट डिज़ाइन, एनीथिंग एंड आई थॉट कि आई थिंक दिस इज़ एन वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग लाइन, बट एग्जैक्टली क्या करना था तब भी नहीं पता था। सो 2009 आई स्टार्टेड लिटिल बिट ऑफ डिजिटल, दिस दैट, एवरीथिंग इन डिजिटल। 2010 वी स्टार्टेड Beryl. We were offering almost every service under the sun. Every service. Matlab, I can't even name, we had more than 28-30 services that we were offering. And anything possible, from marketing to videos to SEOs.
कब की बात है?
2009-10. So Beryl exactly started on 16 July 2010.
16 जुलाई मैं पैदा हुआ था इसीलिए अच्छा चल रहा है।
16 July 2010 is when we started, and very soon my co-founder Akshat, apparently he joined. We go back to high school. We were together in class 11, 12, but we never thought we'll be doing business together. So he completed his education in design. He was coming back to India. We just happened to meet. We decided that let's do this. It just started just like that. And 2014 tak we didn't even realize we grew as large as a team of 60 odd people. But that is something, and massive brands. We were working with almost biggest of the brands in the country. But once again, there was no satisfaction. Completely no satisfaction.
60 लोग की कंपनी थी।
हाँ,
उसके बाद भी नहीं था?
नहीं था, क्योंकि सेटिस्फैक्शन इस चीज़ से कभी नहीं आता। हमें लगता है कि एक दिन हमारे पास 1 लाख करोड़ होंगे और हम सेटिस्फाइड होंगे। नहीं होंगे, नहीं होंगे, कभी नहीं होंगे। मे बी आई एम गारंटीइंग यू, मे बी आज भी अगर मैं डैड का बिजनेस ज्वाइन कर लूँ तो शायद मैं ज़्यादा कमाऊँ अपने बिजनेस से, लेकिन सेटिस्फैक्शन नहीं आएगा। Money is not the satisfaction. अभी बोलना इजी लगता है, बट आई हैव लिटरली लिव्ड दिस, एंड दैट इज व्हेन 2014 इट वाज जस्ट वन फाइन डे वी डिसाइडेड नहीं करना, और वी लिटरली नीच डाउन आवरसेल्व्स टू ओनली 2 services, which was branding and UI UX. We had to gradually let go every team member except 5. And we became a small team, and till date we are a small team at Beryl by choice. We have done some 1536 clients in 15 years. We have done Fortune 500 companies. We have done startups. We have done MSMEs. We have operated in 19 countries. We have even done brands in Afghanistan, leave apart US, UK, Singapore, and Australia and the primary locations, but as remote as Georgia, Afghanistan, all of these countries. And we when I say UI UX, we even started doing UI UX even before Figma and XD came. We used to do on Photoshop. In an era where bigger IT companies, which are so-called today's India's largest IT companies, they used to get website and app projects from US and UK, and they used to outsource their design to agency like ourselves. So we have done a lot of work in that era doing that, and so I got an opportunity even to if you ever happen to drive a Hyundai,
हाँ, I have seen that on
the
your
Hyundai
website.
that Hyundai, my Hyundai app, and especially the latest was when we did their this, what do you call, EV segment of it, where they had to where they facilitated Hyundai users by not just the EV location of it, but what type of charging station is available, if they can book in advance, and all of that was strategized and designed by us. So imagine if we had been put in places, help came to us in lot of unexpected ways. We can't even imagine. We were first generation of designers. We had nothing to do with designing. Nothing. And if people came forward, people were so supportive, so understanding. They came forward, helped us, referred us with no bad intention at all. Then design community is very small and very loving. Very, very loving. And that what, there was this feeling inherently which was, let's give back to the community. That was the birth of the parent company of hire designers, which is Narangi. And under that we planned
बहुत जल्दी पहुंच गए हायर डिजाइनर पे, अभी बैरल पे हैं. सर आपने बहुत इजीली बता दिया, बट हाउ डिड यू ग्रो सो मच? आई एम ऑल्सो रनिंग अ फर्म, सो इट्स नॉट ईजी टू गेट क्लाइंट्स. वो भी आप हिंडे की बात कर रहे हैं, वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट कार मैन्युफैक्चरर इन होल वर्ल्ड.
I know it is not easy. It was never easy. The only thing that helped us was our clear positioning, understanding of design, and not just design in terms of understanding of a process and a discovery. I'll tell you something that I have spent enormous and countless number of hours in learning. I can with all the authority say कि आज भी इंडिया में ब्रांडिंग पढ़ाई ही नहीं जाती है.
सॉफ्टवेयर ज़्यादा सिखाए जाते हैं.
नहीं, सॉफ्टवेयर अदरवाइज भी ब्रांडिंग नहीं है ना. आप खुद एक डिज़ाइन स्कूल से पढ़े हो, आप हमारी ऑडियंस में हज़ारों लोग होंगे जो डिज़ाइन स्कूल से पढ़े होंगे. ब्रांडिंग के नाम पे क्या सिखाया जाता है? इनफैक्ट आई विल नॉट बी रॉन्ग इफ आई से कि प्रॉपरली लोगो मेकिंग भी नहीं सिखाई जाती. स्ट्रैटेजी तो छोड़ ही देते हैं हम. तो ब्रांड स्ट्रैटेजी कौन सिखाएगा? और उसके बिना ब्रांडिंग कैसे हो जाएगी? अब विजुअल छोड़ देते हैं, वर्बल ब्रांडिंग. आज भी आई कैन क्लेम 10% एजेंसीज को प्रॉपरली वर्बल ब्रांडिंग नहीं आती होगी, because everything for them revolves around logo, maybe brand guideline, maybe aesthetic features, but nothing to do with verbal branding. But until and unless a branding captures all of your 5 senses, it will never be a successful brand. आज भी हम लोग टिंग टिंग टिटिंग से ब्रिटानिया पहचान जाते हैं. There's so many sounds around us, and sound is one of the such an important sense after eyes or visuals that we are still ignoring it. So very early in our life, we understood that we have to be way ahead of all other agencies in order to achieve something. And one thing, when we look back now, maybe it just happened, it was in the blood. We stood for our design. So I'll not name because that will go against the brand. We did a very big brand which was primarily functioning 24/7 stores in Delhi. Literally, the brief that we got was that this brand is designed for diplomats or expats or gentry like that. And we had to take our stand that no, this brand is primarily serving people who are drunk at night and have no senses. So we always stood for what we believe, irrespective of what company wants, or maybe your VP marketing wants, or any other person is looking for. We were never submissive, and this was the reason that gradually people started listening to us. Whatever design we created, we never thought that it's a person first design. If it is not serving the brand, we are not ready to accept it. We will better lose the business than giving a design that we don't agree will help the brand.
And what was the case? Clients आते थे कि you used to pitch clients?
हर तरीके से किया है हमने. देखो, शुरू में तो पिच करना ही पड़ता है, रेफरेंसेस भी मांगने पड़ते हैं. पिच कैसे? पिच डिपेंड करता है साइज ऑफ द क्लाइंट पे एंड साइज ऑफ द ticket or the business value that you are getting. So in initial years, we even used to give creative pitches or ideas that, okay, we will probably do this for the brand, do that for the brand. This is how it will look. This is how we have created designs, yet not get the contract in the initial years. Yes, we have done all of that, part and parcel of the life. But gradually, as we had more and more work to show, we got rigid with us that we will not be able to give you creative pitches. Our assessment can gradually be done on the work that we have delivered. Yes, we can probably share our thoughts on how we envision your brand, and that alignment is very, very important. But other than that, now as on date, we refrain, and not just as on date, from pre-COVID era around 2018, 2019, we've stopped giving creative pitches. In fact, you'll be surprised, I lost a contract recently for one of the biggest edtech in Dubai. Only because they were adamant about the fact that design a homepage and show us, only then we'll give you the contract. But the whole idea is that unless you learn to say no, people will not respect what you are saying. Because otherwise they'll sooner or later identify that you will surrender, and they'll force you to that point.
It is similar to कोई client हमें बोल रहा है एक plan बना के दे दो फिर बात करते हैं.
As simple as that. क्यों बना के दूं मैं?
Right.
And that plan is everything. That plan is everything, not only just in terms of my times, but in mind, in terms of my knowledge, in terms of my creativity. That plan is pretty much everything. Or you can put a price to that plan that, okay, this is what I'll charge for the plan. And if you get the work done, I'll adjust the price. But why should you pay it for free? Why should any designer give anything for free?
Right.
आप कभी मेडिसिन वाले से तो जाके नहीं बोलते मुझे दवाई दिखा दो, अगर काम करी तो मैं पैसे दे दूंगा. स्कूल से तो नहीं बोलते कि अगर मेरा बच्चा कुछ बन गया तो मैं आपको पैसे दे दूंगा, नहीं तो नहीं दूंगा.
डिजाइन में आके बात अटक जाती है.
आप अमेजोन से नहीं बोलते कि मेरे को प्रोडक्ट ट्राई करवा दो.
एकदम.
फिर डिजाइनर्स क्यों?
और हम तो ऑप्शन भी दे रहे हैं आपको कि आप रिवाइज कराओ, चेंज कराओ, आपको जैसा चाहिए.
हाँ, उसमें भी मुझे लगता है हमें लिमिट करना चाहिए अपने आप को. दैट इज वेयर वेरी अर्ली इन आवर लाइफ स्टेजेस वी लर्न द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. वी हैड वेरी वेरी रिजिड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स, एंड आई मेड श्योर, इवन देयर आर सो मेनी टाइम्स व्हेन dad's friend got a project done or anybody, I said, uncle, I don't want money because obviously you are family to us, but I can't do a project without signing the contract. Contract has to be a primary thing for any designer, and not just a chat GPT contract. In our times there was no chat GPT, but now people think that a chat GPT drawn contract is a good contract. No, it is not. It has to be a fair contract. It has to help both the parties, and it has to draw a number of limitations on number of iterations.
Right.
Who holds the intellectual property? How would payment be released? What happens if it is not released? All of those things.
Very important.
We are doing this from 2011, and our contract is a 16-page contract. People hesitate, but then there's no option. There's no option. And in India, yes, I agree that it works on trust. And every reference you get is only because the other person trusts you.
Yes.
So, luckily or unluckily, not unluckily, definitely luckily, we never enforced a contract. So even if my contract says that I have 2 iterations and I know that this project might require 3 iterations, I'll offer it. But the point is that I will not get exploited if it becomes 4, 5, 6 iterations. If I feel like that client is genuine, what client is putting across, and there has been cases where we are designing a brand and the input of the client was so shocking that we were like, यार ये तो हमने सोचा ही नहीं. And we genuinely, without even questioning him, went back to the board and started the work again. There's no ego. Absolutely.
फिजूल का काम भी नहीं करना ना.
लेकिन ऐसा भी नहीं है कि वो बोल रहे हैं मेरे मामा जी के चाचा जी के बेटे ने कहा है इसमें ना ये अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, तो आप उन्हीं से बनवा लीजिए. मैं हूँ डिज़ाइनर या वो है. मैं हमेशा मेरी डिज़ाइन टीम में मैं एक बात बोलता हूँ कि आपको समझना है आप डॉक्टर हो. कोई आके ना आपको ये बोल सकता है कि सर मेरे पेट दर्द है, मेरे ऊपर पेट दर्द है, मेरे नीचे पेट दर्द है. ये नहीं बोल सकता कि सर आप मेरे को साइक्लोपैम लिख दो. अगर उसे पता ही था तो केमिस्ट से खरीद लेता. अगर उसे पता ही है उसे क्या लोगो बनवाना है, क्या ब्रांड खड़ा करवाना है, तो जाए किसी भी डीटी ऑपरेटर के पास, किसी भी ये डिजिटल प्रिंटिंग कंपनी में, वहाँ पे डिज़ाइनर्स बैठे रहते हैं पर आर के हिसाब से, बनवा ले. हमारी ज़रूरत ही क्या है? क्या ज़रूरत है आर्किटेक्ट की? ठेकेदार को पकड़े, बोले यार यहाँ पे ड्राइंग रूम निकलना है, यहाँ पे बाथरूम निकलना है, इसमें 4 चीज़ें लगनी है, कर ले काम. So until and unless designer realize that we are doctors and as good as doctors, we'll never be able to operate in that way. और हो सकता है मुझे साइक्लोपैम ना लगनी हो, मुझे लगना हो, मेरे को तो भी तो नहीं पता कि पेट का दर्द है, वो हो सकता है गैस्ट्रिक का, हो सकता है वो किडनी स्टोन का हो सकता है वो इंटेस्टाइन का हो. मैं दवाई मेरी मर्जी से लिखूंगा ना, मेरे एनालिसिस पे लिखूंगा. आपके घर में जगह ही नहीं है, आप आर्किटेक्ट हो, आपके घर में जगह ही नहीं है, आप कह रहे हो मेरे को स्विमिंग पूल बना दो, लॉन टेनिस बना दो, बन ही नहीं सकता. 4 बेडरूम निकाल दो.
और ये जॉब भी हमारी है, डिज़ाइनर की है, कि हम क्लाइंट्स को पहले सिखाए भी.
इंडिया इज स्टिल विटनेसिंग डिज़ाइन लाइक वी विटनेस्ड IT बैक इन लेट 1990s एंड अर्ली 2000s. तो जो एडवेंट ऑफ WWW था, जिसे ग्लोबली हम रिकग्नाइज करते हैं, द इंटरनेट बूम एंड द राइज ऑफ IT, सेम इज हैपनिंग विद डिज़ाइन इन आवर कंट्री. The very first time around 2 to 3 years back when OnePlus launched a television, some brand talked about design other than features. So imagine we are just way behind. I can show you hundreds of graphic design creatives of 70s of US that you will still find relevant in our country. So unfortunately, design has never been our forefront, and maybe also not because that we never wanted it, maybe because हमारी society उस तरीके से nurtured थी. We just got independence 1947. अभी तो हमारे देश को मतलब literally the generation before us, they were struggling for basic needs ना.
सर्वाइवल के बाद
सर्वाइवल इंस्टिंक्ट्स थे कि भाई रोटी कपड़ा मकान ये मिल जाए, उसके बाद कुछ बेसिक ज़रूरतें पूरी हो जाएं, एक गाड़ी आ जाए, एक घर में AC भी लगवा लें, एक मोटर भी लग जाए ताकि दूर से नल से पानी ना लाना पड़े. तो बेसिक ज़रूरतों से लड़ रहे थे. तो कभी शायद डिज़ाइन की तरफ ध्यान ही नहीं गया. जो जैसा है, अगर काम चला पा रहा है, फंक्शनैलिटी कंप्लीट है, ओके है, तो more than sufficient. अब our generation, now we are born with everything, तो we'll focus on design.
Right. Survival की बात नहीं है, तो now you can explore.
Everybody has a net. Everybody has a net to fall to. Most of us, I feel. If not everybody, but yes, because I know designers, people who register with us, who are still coming from a background which is still fighting for its survival and basic needs.
Right.
But I just hope, things get better and better from this point. क्योंकि मैं हमेशा एक बात बोलता हूँ, मेरे कोई भी वेंचर हो, बिजनेस वेंचर, एनीथिंग दैट आई डू, डिज़ाइन इन इंडिया इज समथिंग दैट वी नीड for any other thing, primarily for Make in India and Startup India to be successful. हम अपने आसपास देखते हैं, मैं हर किसी को ये बोलता हूँ, and this is something that I've repeated nth number of time. हमारे आसपास कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं है जो हम इंडिजीनियसली डिज़ाइन कर रहे हैं. ना हमारे AC, ना हमारे माइक्स, ना हमारे स्पेक्स, ना मॉडम, कोई भी चीज़, ना हमारे लैपटॉप्स, ना हमारे मोबाइल फ़ोन्स, कोई भी चीज़ इंडिया में डिज़ाइन ही नहीं हो रही है. It is such an unfortunate circumstance. We are one of the largest consumer base in the world. Tell me 10 global brands that are originated in India.
None.
है ही नहीं. और क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि अभी कभी सोच ही नहीं पाए उस
और
तरीके
है
से.
भी तो उनकी डिज़ाइन टीम बाहर की है, इटली से है, नहीं तो यूके से. इवन टाटा महिंद्रा का भी ले लें तो दे आर हायरिंग डिज़ाइनर फ्रॉम अदर कंट्रीज, यूरोपियन कंट्रीज.
दो आज की डेट में they have their Indian design team. They have designers in house. Even Tata, Mahindra, all of them. Yes, pretty much all of them. Suzuki has a very big design team.
Suzuki has.
Suzuki has very big. Maruti Suzuki has a very big design team. Automotive companies now are having a design team, but it is still unfortunate that most of the design are somewhere inspired or aspired from
Foreign
models that have been produced in foreign countries.
That is
So
true.
it's very unfortunate कि अभी भी हम वो ओरिजिनलिटी इन डिज़ाइन नहीं ला पा रहे हैं. और ओरिजिनलिटी इन डिज़ाइन आएगी ही तब जब आप 100 बार उस चीज़ को कर लोगे. So my co-founder Akshat he has helped me learn a design a lot. He is an alumni of Rhode Island School of Design. And one of the best designers that I know, not because by the virtue he's my partner, but because of his deep understanding of design and visual aesthetics. I just consider him one of the best designers around us, and he's taught me कि प्रशांत हम लोगो बना रहे हैं, हमने जब तक 100 iterations नहीं बना दी ना, तब तक everything that is coming around is inspired by something or the other. It could be in our conscious और subconscious, और हमने realize भी नहीं किया होगा. हमारे peripheral vision में हमने कहीं पे किसी signage पे एक छोटा सा sign देखा होगा, हम उसको replicate कर देंगे और ये सोचते रहेंगे ये original है.
Very right.
हमें वो चाहिए ही नहीं. He uses this very funny term which is GIGO. So there's a FIFO method, there's a LIFO method, if you know, first in first out, last in first out. Management में पढ़ाते हैं, basically inventory management के लिए it's primarily used. He uses a very interesting term called GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. It's unfortunate that our society, our schools, everybody is teaching in garbage, and we are only reproducing garbage. So until unless we do these many number of iterations, we will never be able to be original. Never.
कल ही मैं बात कर रहा था शिंजनी से भी कि हमारे घर भी थोड़े बिखरे हुए होते हैं इंडियंस के, क्योंकि बाहर ही वही देख रहे हैं. इंस्पिरेशन ही हमारी रोड गंदी है, नाले हैं, तो अंदर कैसे कर लोगे वो चीज़?
हाँ, एक वो सेंस है ना होर्डिंग की. और होर्डिंग की सेंस क्यों है? क्योंकि हम, जैसा हमने अभी डिस्कस किया, हम उस माइंडसेट से आ रहे हैं कि एक कंजर्वेटिव माइंडसेट, कल को कुछ नहीं हुआ, जॉब नहीं हुई या एक्स नहीं हुआ, वाई नहीं हुआ, तो हम सब कुछ संभाल के रखना चाहते हैं. उसके लिए और ज़्यादा स्टोरेज और वो सामान है तो कहीं ना कहीं बिखरा हुआ होगा. आज भी averagely almost all Indian household have those extra pieces of tile that they used in bathroom which they will never use.
बस ये दिमाग में कल को टूट गया तो लगा
तो, और वो कभी नहीं होता. कभी नहीं होता. You won't believe, मैं खुद की किसी और की याद करूं, मेरे घर में 1986 में जो बाथरूम में टाइल्स यूज हुई थी उसका 4 चेंज भी होली, लेकिन हमने फेंकी नहीं वो टाइल्स. मुझे नहीं पता क्यों रखी हुई है, बस नहीं फेंकते घर वाले. है इतना सामान, क्या कर सकते हैं.
हाँ, इट विल टेक टाइम सोसाइटी टू डेवलप.
इट विल टेक टाइम. और जब तक हम वो ओरिजिनलिटी लेकर नहीं आएंगे ना, तब तक हम वो ब्रांड्स डेवलप भी नहीं कर सकते. इसीलिए वी प्रमोट डिजाइन इन इंडिया, क्योंकि मेक इन इंडिया क्या है, आप बनाओगे क्या जब तक डिजाइन ही
नहीं करोगे. फैक्ट.
आप स्टार्टअप इंडिया में IT के अलावा, और एज दीज टॉप मिनिस्टर्स हैव सेड इन पास्ट की फूड या फिर डिलीवरी के अलावा, एग्रीगेशन के अलावा, until unless you come up with original products, you won't be able to have meaningful startups.
कब तक चाइना से लाके बेचोगे?
हाँ, and for those meaningful startups you need design again. चाहे वो छोटी से छोटी आपको पिन ही क्यों ना डिजाइन करनी हो, सेफ्टी पिन. Imagine what will we do? And at the end people just end up, हम लोग ज्वेलरी ऑब्सेस्ड नेशन है. The amount of jewelry we buy and consume कहीं और नहीं होती वर्ल्ड में. And you will be surprised, हमारे नेशन वाइड we hardly have jewelry designers. I will not be wrong to give a very guesstimate figure, but we only have around 3,200 active jewelry designers on 150 crore people. Imagine the kind of burden each designer is taking.
ये आपको डाटा भी वहाँ से मिला, हायर डिजाइनर से मिला होगा, आई थिंक. आई हैव सीन सम पोस्ट वी आर हायरिंग.
So it's a little stressful situation in the country right now, but I'm sure things will work out. People are now trying and creating things. There are so many beautiful startups that are creating some beautiful designs, and I'm sure scenarios will change gradually. Next 20 years we'll see a
it will
very
take at
drastic shift in design. Very drastic shift.
इवन हमारे फील्ड में भी, आर्किटेक्चर में भी हर साल कॉलेजेस बंद हो रहे हैं. 50% सीट खाली जा रही है. अब उसका बेस जाएंगे तो बहुत सारे रीजंस हैं, बट रियलिटी है ये.
तो आई वॉज रीडिंग दिस, इनफैक्ट मैं आज दिन में किसी को कोट कर रहा था, लास्ट ईयर और लास्ट ईयर IIT बॉम्बे हैड अनप्लेस्ड कैंडिडेट्स. So if IIT IIMs would face a situation like this, then who else will get a job? तो कहीं ना कहीं दिक्कत तो बहुत बड़ी है. We are just not identifying it.
सर, सो अच्छी जब कंपनी चल रही है आपकी, फिर आपने एक और स्टार्ट किया कि अब मैं दूसरों को बताऊंगा कि हायर किसको करना है.
So as I said, we are a small team by choice. तो small team की ना hiring के अपने issues होते हैं. People have their own choices, own preferences in terms of where they want to work, what kind of company infrastructure they are aiming at. Okay, obviously, unlike MNCs, I don't have that huge spaces to rest, spaces to lie down, recliners. All of that is not there in my organization because Beryl is small, 5 to 8 member team. So pretty much we realized, and as I said that in addition to this, as I mentioned, I've got a lot of help from design community at large. So there was always an intention to give back to the community. And when we sat down we had many ideas of how we can contribute to the community, but we realized there's something which needs immediate attention. And what was that is that we need to help industry in better hiring.
आपके खुद के प्रॉब्लम से आया था क्या?
Definitely. It first arose out of our own very problem. Then it was validated by friends, by people in the design industry who are very near and dear ones. We started very, very small. And the whole idea was never to build the higher designers. It was just that okay, let's try and help people. See, you as a designer cannot apply in 1,000 companies. You will have a saturation. After 20th and 40th company that you have applied for, you will be mentally exhausted. Right. Similarly, an employer cannot also go through thousands of portfolio that they receive through various platforms. It's impossible to see their portfolio. It's impossible to talk to them. It's impossible to evaluate them on any parameters. Biggest gap, HRs and account managers are not equipped, with all due respect to their learnings over period, but design hiring requires special eye. It is not just like hiring IT people. Okay, X skill, Y skill, A software language, B software language, just get on board. No, it doesn't work like that. It requires a lot more. So, and co-founders and creators do not have bandwidth to go through these many CVs and portfolios and all of this. Then who will hire the right candidate? And unless you are running an architecture firm, if you will grow, you'll focus on hiring or you'll focus on growing business and designing.
We just faced this issue. इंटर्न हायर करने में भी इतना यार सीवी खोलो, पोर्टफोलियो देखो, अच्छा आप बुलाओ, फिर उससे ही बात करो कब आ रहे हो कब नहीं आ रहे हो.
And then this is just one you are telling me. If you have to do this process
10
for
15 people, तब तो
10 15 people, you are done. And in 10 15 people, you are not sure that you will get the candidate.
Exactly.
So imagine the amount of time and effort going into it. Leave apart the money. And अच्छी बड़ी organizations भी नहीं कर पाती. So this was something कि हमारे पास टैलेंट है, हमारे पास वो टैलेंट एब्जॉर्ब करने के लिए कंपनीज हैं, बस उनको मिलाने वाला कोई नहीं है. That was the birth of our designers. We didn't even realize कब में हमें कम्युनिटी ने इतना प्यार दिया, चाहे वो किसी भी साइड से हो, कैंडिडेट साइड से हो, एम्प्लॉयर साइड से हो, that we grew big in today's date. We are doing biggest of the companies in every domain. We do 50 plus design disciplines. Practically every design discipline that's taught around the world is what we cater to. We are already working in 6 countries. We are furnishing designers from India to US, UK, obviously Middle East comes without saying, Australia, Singapore. We are doing globally. And the fact that when we started growing, we saw designers coming from all walks of life. Designers who are not even there on LinkedIn or any other platform. They don't even have an account, leave about active or inactive account.
Right.
And people from tier 2, tier 3 cities, unimaginable number of designers. Today, as we speak, we are working with 736 brands. Worldwide.
तो कितना ड्यूरेशन रहता है आपका हायर करने में?
Sorry?
कितना टाइम लेते हैं हायर करने में सपोज?
There's no fixed answer to this. Reason is it depends on the seniority, complexity, and a lot of different styles. For example, again, I'll try not to name any of the clients for obvious reasons, but I'm hiring for a good architecture firm. I'm hiring specially classical and neoclassical design. Now this position gets tougher because people who have practiced classical and neoclassical for 3-4 years are apparently a very small pool in the country. Very, very small pool. क्योंकि एक तो हमारे कंट्री का स्टाइल नहीं है, है ना, उसमें भी चॉइस और प्रेफरेंस नहीं है लोगों की. मोर पीपल आर गोइंग टुवर्ड्स कंटेम्पररी और सम पीपल आर इवन ऑप्टिंग फॉर देयर स्टेट ट्रेडिशनल और एनीथिंग, बट क्लासिकल एंड न्यू क्लासिकल इज समथिंग दैट we barely have seen. So that increases the gestation period. Or as we look for a senior resource, juniors are relatively quicker and faster to place and easier to place. But as we move towards creative directors, senior people who can manage team, who can manage vendors, who can look into 10 different or wear 10 different hats, the gestation period increases. So it could be from anywhere from 7 days to a month's time. It could be anywhere.
So आप काम कैसे करते हैं? कंपनी रीच्ड यू, उन्होंने ब्रीफ बताया हमें ये क्राइटेरिया चाहिए, then you post on public platform.
We may or may not, as on date. This is one very important thing that designers should know, that we don't post every job that we receive on our Instagram on public platform. So in fact, this is one very interesting conversation I was having with a girl. She's based out of Kolkata again, and she said, "Sir, I have been following you for years now, from the beginning of the hire designers, and I recently graduated. So I just asked out of curiosity, have you ever filled our form?" She said, "No sir, I never saw a post of a fresher fashion designer on your page, and I never filled up." And I said, "Last year only I placed seven itself in Kolkata. So leave apart rest of the country." And she said, "Sir, I never knew that we have to fill in up." The whole idea is that for a lot of positions, we already have candidates. We are not publishing and advertising each one of them.
आपके डेटाबेस में है, रिक्वायरमेंट आएगी, you will find those people.
And then we have people who realize, who are in references. We have our Instagram channels, we have our WhatsApp channels, where jobs that are not on Instagram or on public domain like LinkedIn are also shared, or stories have a lot of jobs different from what is already out there. So imagine, okay, just very simple maths. I'm telling you, I'm working with 736 clients as on date. Even if I get one position from each, though there are clients who have hired 5, 7, 8 designers from us, even if I get one position of 8, I've already worked on 736 positions. My Instagram only has 650 something. So there's certainly some gap. Right. And that gap is that, for example, if organization A, organization B, organization C are looking for, say, 3 years of interior designer, 3 years of experience interior designer in Delhi, then maybe just one ad of mine will be sufficient for all 3 of them. I would not needlessly run ads on it or post it on for the world. So this is how it functions, and it takes, as the original question was, some 7 to 30 days to close a position. At times it takes a little longer also when we get even more senior positions or more complex position. There are positions where people demand that we need a graphic designer with architecture background or vice versa. So events industry where timings are very, very odd. There are no days, working hours, and they need people with crazy design skills, which can be implemented into tangible outcomes. Then there are so many industries in our country which we never thought would come to it. Recently, we had a client who wanted a graphic designer who has experience in motor racing or any form of racing. So imagine this. Such small pool of designer would already have worked in car racing for us to furnish him the designer. Luckily, we got lucky. We found few we were able to place, but then these position takes really, really long.
So जितने भी suppose 1,000 people are applying, आपका डेटाबेस आप सबको एक्सेप्ट करते हैं कि जिसका पोर्टफोलियो पसंद नहीं है उसे खुद भी हटा देते हैं?
नहीं, एक्सेप्ट और रिजेक्ट जैसा हायर डिजाइनर्स में कुछ नहीं है. The point is, if you are applying, you might not be fit for current position, but that doesn't mean that we will never have a position where you will be a fit. So we have everybody with us. Every time we have a position, we go through a good number of portfolios. So even when we are going through the portfolios, you have to understand that over a period of time, we have developed a very, very unique 3S model, which some of our employers understand, and that is why they're working with us. And even candidates need to understand that how this 3S works in order to get a job through hire designers. This 3S stands for skill, style, and sync. So the first level is just like any other agency or any other human resource agency, I would say. We match skills. Now, for instance, you are hiring a graphic designer, so probably you need an Adobe Illustrator, and you need Photoshop or maybe InDesign or whatever software you are looking for, and you have certain basic parameters. All of those are matched. Second most important thing is style. Now, I just gave you an example of classical and neoclassical. Or if you want a contemporary designer, I cannot give you a traditional designer or person having experience in traditional, or residential versus commercial, or branding versus social media, right? Or real jewelry versus artificial jewelry, or gemstones versus gold jewelry, or versus temple jewelry. So within each design discipline, there are so many niches, so many niches, that until and unless that perfect style is matched, we will not be able to place.
And portfolio की कितनी इम्पोर्टेंस है इसमें? किस एज तक भी इम्पोर्टेंस है? अगर 10 साल का एक्सपीरियंस तब भी पोर्टफोलियो मैटर?
तो यहाँ पे आई वुड लाइक टू ऐड, पोर्टफोलियो हमेशा मैटर करता है.
ओके.
चाहे आप 20 साल 25 साल भी हो, जस्ट टू आंसर दैट. बट कमिंग बैक टू आवर ओरिजिनल कॉन्वर्सेशन ऑफ 3S, the style thing, it's very early in the higher designers stage we realize that this style is so important, and we are able to achieve this because all our recruiters come from design background. That is the only reason that we ace above average
Other
account managers or in-house talent that we are able to identify, because one of the most important factor in design hiring is nurturability. which people miss. I might see 2 projects in one's portfolio, but I should be able to identify that if given right guidance and right exposure, this person will be able to create a lot more than what he's displaying right now.
Right.
And that is only possible because all of our recruiters come from design background. No other recruitment agency globally has this kind of a service. And the third S, I think you missed that. You didn't even ask about it. It's sync. Sync, we never realized, and our country as a matter of fact has never realized that even when skills and style are matched, the person is not a fit until unless you share a common mindset. Imagine you are a startup. You yourself are a startup, right? Yeah. You are 2 designers. If you'll hire your first team member, you'll expect him to wear 10 hats. He'll be doing multiple jobs. So any person, irrespective of what salary you are offering, any person coming from a corporate with that kind of a mindset, 9 to 5, would never fit for you. People have their own attachment issues. People have their personal problems, their baggage, a lot of stuff in psychology. They will never be able to work if that mindset or that sync is not there. And therefore, we have 2 psychologists on board with us who are continuously evaluating each conversation, each answer, everything that you say to assess you. And as a matter of this sync, we can proudly say we have 97.4% retention rate. This is way beyond industry average, which means we practically don't have a replacement case. And that is why I say that at Hire Designers, we go through a very stringent parameters. After all this comes the internal processes of the employer, which in most cases are okay because we have already gone through a lot of stuff.
So after point, वो भी लेते हैं interview or is the
हाँ वो लोग लेते हैं क्योंकि blindly, and we encourage them कि आप लो, क्योंकि blindly hire कभी नहीं करना चाहिए. हम कितना भी stringent हो, they could have been looking for something very, very different, which we may know, we may not know. Unfortunately, ChatGPT के आने से JDs are now mechanical. All of the JDs read same. कोई फर्क ही नहीं है. आप 10 कंपनीज के JD उठा के पढ़ लो, आपको किसी में कुछ नहीं समझ आएगा, और सब में वही करना है, सेम चीज.
Right.
And there are organizations which also not just take interviews, they take assignments also. And every process that they do, and we always encourage, because at the end you have to be satisfied. Until unless you are satisfied, just because I am saying does not work. Though by the virtue of their trust and by virtue of the quality we furnished, most of the candidates are able to clear those rounds normally in first go or so. So we are able to close candidates as early as possible, as 2 batches or 3 batches. We do not throw 100 CVs at our client, never. And we realize that being a designer, the importance of iteration. So even, when we furnish candidates, when we have given them 4 or 6 candidates, and we realize that they're not selecting any of them, we understand that there could be an issue in our understanding, and we go towards a realignment meeting. We take the entire brief again with absolutely no egos. Because until and unless there's a proper process, one has to be patient. We retake the brief, we redo our entire work, and then furnish them candidates again. Right. And transparency has been our biggest win on either end. How till date you yourself see design jobs, how many jobs till date disclose the accurate package that they are willing to offer? They will only write number of years or the style that they want, or what are they looking for? Looking for a senior graphic designer, just apply. Now who will apply? सीनियर 8 LPA पे बंदा है, वो भी सीनियर ग्राफिक डिजाइनर है अपनी कंपनी में, और बहुत से ऐसे कॉर्पोरेट्स हैं जहाँ पे 28 LPA पे भी वो सीनियर नहीं बन पाया बेचारा. तो अप्लाई कौन करे? किसी को क्लैरिटी नहीं है कौन से ब्रांड में जाना है, क्या करना है, क्या देखना है।
और कहीं कहीं पे तो 5-10 ईयर्स के बाद भी आर्किटेक्ट है या जूनियर आर्किटेक्ट है, जूनियर डिजाइनर है,
कुछ भी हो सकता है। Positions are misleading, designations are misleading. We have even come across clients जो कह रहे हैं आप हमें 3 years of experience का graphic designer दे दीजिए, we'll make them creative director. Now imagine if somebody gets selected and he becomes creative director, now what will be his next designation? After 5 years or 6 years or 7 years?
फिर CEO ही बनना पड़ेगा।
Understand? And it's a big problem. We have to make our clients understand. And in these conversations is what we encountered is that people have still to understand how designers are hired. We even help them understand at times that no, you do not need 3 junior designers, you need 1 senior and 1 junior. That is what we do at Hire Designers. We tell them that with Hire Designers next to you, you only focus on design and business. We will take care of your hiring.
और पोर्टफोलियो जज आप भी करते हैं क्या मोस्टली सीवी के बेसिस पे?
अब तो कम करता हूँ, इनिशियल डेज में किया है, बहुत किया है। You know, as we started, we have a third co-founder in Hire Designers also. He's an alumni, Parth Parekh. He's an alumni of Domus Academy and he has been celebrated by almost all magazines and newspapers you can think of, probably one of the celebrated furniture designers in the country. And initially when we 3 started, we made sure that primarily our intention is never to take money out of this venture. So we didn't invest also in terms of too much from our pocket, because the whole idea was we will build it from the scratch on its own and we'll scale it. Since, as I mentioned, I come from a typical Banya background. I have never been supportive of the idea of raising money, raising funds or selling it out. We have seen our generations working their ass hard off, you know, to achieve or to build something, whatever we are enjoying today. And I know that it will take a complete generation to build what we are building right now. So in initial days, all 3 of us used to do all the work, be it portfolio screening, be it client discussions, sending, anything and everything. Every process in my company is designed by me. Every clause of my contract is designed by me out of experience. It's not by hiring the experts. It's because we have learned on the job that this is required. And therefore we know each and every step of each and every position or employee in the organization.
तो आपकी कंपनी में भी उसमें हेल्प हो रही है हायरिंग करने में इनडायरेक्टली? इतना हायर
लकीली इतना तो I would say कि this is the benefit I should get if I have both the ventures. So yes, we do get benefit out of there, but we still make sure that companies are sorted in terms of if one company is taking help of other company, it should be billed maybe at the minimum price or whatever is the reasonable cost, they are billed.
और आप कल कॉल पे जो हम बात कर रहे थे, यू टॉक्ड अबाउट पोर्टफोलियो, इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ पोर्टफोलियो, प्लीज उस पर हाईलाइट करिएगा। इम्पोर्टेंस कितनी है, कितना टाइम दे के बनाओ?
इम्पोर्टेंस तो हमेशा ही होती है। आप किसी भी डिज़ाइन रोल के लिए ग्लोबली विदाउट पोर्टफोलियो हायर ही नहीं कर सकते। इफ़ यू डोंट नो व्हाट दैट पर्सन इज क्रिएटिंग, you will never be able to hire a designer. Not by the CV. CV tells you nothing. CV tells you the kind of project you have done, the kind of the name of the companies you have worked in, and the name of your college. It tells nothing else. It does not tell what kind of scale of the project was, what was the size of the project, what was your contribution in it, whether you did one room or you did entire project, it was a high rise, it was a single apartment, whether it was just one-off logo or it was complete branding scheme. Nothing. In fact, portfolio is the only thing that matters. We at times do not even look at the CV, and we have convinced our client on the basis of the portfolio where somebody was very adamant to hire a 5-year or 6-year experienced guy to hire a 2-year experienced guy because his portfolio said a lot more than those who have 5 years or 6 years of experience.
It applies to all the industries.
All the industries. All. Not even one would survive without portfolio. And unfortunately, our colleges are not focusing on it. They would have portfolio classes, I would not deny. They would also invite industry experts in portfolio designing. But who are these industry experts? These are studio owners again, right? And how do they know what should go in the portfolio is probably what they personally want in the portfolio. But does that style of portfolio making would apply for 100 other organizations that you would be applying for? Maybe the other second person is looking for different things in the portfolio and third person is looking for a different thing in the portfolio. Then how do you work on it?
It is
So if you see union of two sets, which is the recruitment and design, we are one of the only companies that has hands-on experience. And that is why we thought that since our goal was to give back to the community, the only way, because talent is amazing in our country, is that it doesn't reflect on the paper. And people and the studios are less willing to take risk with something that they have not seen. So, just for example, Prateek could be an amazing architect, but his portfolio has only 2 projects and third one is UI UX. Now, how would a big firm judge you? They'll either judge you as confused, that you have shown half-baked cakes in your architecture project. Why will they hire you? Why will they put a stake? Imagine they are doing a house for Ambani's or Adani's or maybe XY's or whatever. There's no limit to number of millionaires and billionaires in the country. Anybody would not put it on stake. Or they are creating brands. Once a designer create a brand, companies spend enormous amount of money on their marketing, on their distribution, on goods, packaging, printing. Why would they risk it? और ऐसा नहीं है कि किसी और से गलती हो नहीं सकती. In fact, going back to the Beryl, we realize and we always tell them that when doing a branding, you should check global markets. So we are again one of the few firms who, when do visual identity, we check the entire American market, European market, Indian market before giving an identity to an organization. Imagine a company like Cognizant with thousands and thousands of employees was stuck in a intellectual property case in India and they cannot use their latest global logo in India.
Why is that?
Because it overlaps with a startup in Bangalore. And they lost the case. So blunders do happen.
At such level.
At such level. You can't even imagine Cognizant. I'm talking about thousands and thousands and lakhs of crores of turnover. Blunders do happen. But imagine no company would like to, deliberately do the blunder. So for that, it is important for me to know and see your work. And what are you creating? How original you are? What was the brief given? How did you comprehend it? And what was the outcome that you made?
Do you help people जो apply करते हैं आपके यहाँ पे कि portfolio तुम और better करके भेजो या कुछ?
So we very
or something sort of course कि we will teach you कि portfolio कैसा होना चाहिए.
One aspect that we didn't touch upon is when we started High Designers, it was focused on recruitment, but the intention was always the community at heart. So when we started realizing at large that people are not aware of how the portfolio should be. And there are self-taught designers also who have never been to schools. A lot of them, people who are coming from tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities who never had these kind of exposure. We launched Huddle Designers. So Huddle Designers in today's date is the community wing of Hire Designers who does all these workshops. So twice a year we do what not to do with your portfolio, which is primarily focused on
Industry-wise or?
no, it's generic, but we try to cover multiple industry. We also have individual programs. If any individual wants to get one-to-one personalized help on it, we also have those programs. We do meetup. I personally take up business mentoring for designers because unfortunately no designer is taught business in school. So they don't know what to charge, how to charge, what are the systems, what is the value, how to market yourself, how to distinguish yourself from 10 other designers that are standing in line with you. So business is not just about design. आप डिजाइन तो तब करोगे ना जब आप बिजनेस एक्वायर कर लोगे, और उसके लिए एक बहुत ही अलग माइंडसेट चाहिए. It can't be just that I am a good designer, give me business. No, it will never function like that.
Right.
What are the trust signals that you are sending out in public? And by the fact, luckily, by the fact of my education, this is what we learned very early in our business. The first website of Beryl that we made was outsourced, and in that time, 2010, we spent $3,000 on it. So we have always understood that there are trust factors, trust signals that people look for, and you have to create them and present them in a manner that you are able to acquire business. How does your proposal read? How to negotiate? What all things you have to tell client and what all things you have to make obvious to the client. There are a lot of business strategies that go into, marketing strategies that go into. It is not like just play the boost button on the Instagram and things will happen. Do you think our 130K on Hire Designers as we speak is because of the boost button? Everybody has that opportunity, and there are people who have a lot more money than us. Why can't they create parallel Hire Designers? It can never. So unless you connect one-to-one with designers, understand their pain, with employers, understand their pain, you will never be able to replicate us.
Do you help architecture firm and interior design firm also? Branding में?
So abhi tak
I think we lack there.
abhi tak we have not started cross promoting as okay. So this question has two parts.
Yeah.
Beryl has had clients. Always had clients from design industry to help with their branding, but we have not yet officially started cross promoting both the ventures. If somebody is particularly or categorically asking me about both the ventures, that is when I tell them. Otherwise, I try not to, push one client into another venture, because that becomes very salesy. And by God's grace, we have clients in both the ventures, so you need less to do that.
Sir, so now it's a selfish question. हमारी फर्म के लिए suggest us something कि अपनी positioning set कैसे करें, which other people can also apply.
Okay, so ideally this is what I tell in my mentoring programs. It goes by the name of Forward 24/7. And if anybody is listening or watching this, they should attend this. We regularly organize this, at least in Delhi in person, and we are soon planning it in online also. It's a basic level business mentoring for design professionals, whether you are shifting from job to freelancing or freelancing to agency or trying to scale a small agency into big agency. But when we talk of positioning, okay, even before I answer this, I would ask you, how would you introduce yourself in 30 seconds? Give us your introduction.
I cannot.
No, give us. Come on. Give us your introduction.
We are a young, we are a young firm of young architects. That's it.
And you think this brief is not applicable to 1,000 other firms?
No, it is.
So how are you distinguishing yourself? what is the outcome that you are promising the client?
if आई जस्ट वांट टू ऐड, हम जो ट्राई करते हैं करने का कि सर्विस में ही हम ट्राई करते हैं कि हम ये चीज़ आपको करेंगे. सपोज पर्सनलाइजेशन इज़ अ थिंग, गिविंग एक्स्ट्रा ऑप्शंस इज़ अ क्राइटेरिया जहाँ पे हम बोल सकते हैं.
बट वो तो आप तब करोगे ना जब आपके पास क्लाइंट कन्विंसिंग मोड में आ गया.
एग्जैक्टली.
इफ ही इज जस्ट जजिंग यू ऑन द ग्लैंस ऑफ इट कि मेरे को ये 100 में से 4 से बात करनी है, वो सिलेक्शन में हाउ विल यू स्टैंड आउट?
लाइक देयर आर फर्म्स जिन्होंने न्यू क्लासिकल ही अपना पूरा पर्सोना बना लिया.
दैट इज नीश.
हाँ,
तो नीशिंग डाउन इज डेफिनेटली वन ऑफ द स्टफ. अब उसमें भी ऐसा तो नहीं है कि न्यू क्लासिकल में एक ही फर्म है, उसमें भी 50 फर्म्स है.
बट दैट बिकम रिस्की ऑल्सो कि तुम्हारा कंपटीशन फिर डायरेक्ट बड़ी फर्म्स हो रही हैं.
फिर तो देखो रिस्की तो सब कुछ ही है. आप ये भी क्वेश्चन,
रिस्की.
हाँ, बिजनेस करना ही रिस्की है. अगर आप रिस्क नहीं ले सकते तो मत करो बिजनेस. पॉइंट ब्लैंक, देयर इज नो अदर स्टेटमेंट. अगर आप रिस्क नहीं ले सकते तो मत करो बिजनेस. बट ये सोचना कि मैं सब कुछ ही कर लूंगा तो एंडलेस है. फिर तो कैफे कॉफी डे भी सोच सकता है कि मैं चायोस क्यों नहीं खोल बन जाता, या फिर मैं आइसक्रीम भी बेचने लगूं तो कैवेंटर्स भी वहीं बन जाऊंगा. और अगर मैं बर्गर भी बेचने लगूं, मेरे पास सब कुछ तो है ही इन हाउस, तो मैकडॉनल्ड्स भी वहीं बन जाऊंगा.
राइट.
फिर वो लोग क्यों स्पेशलाइजेशन कर रहे हैं? मैकडॉनल्ड्स तो नहीं सोचता यार मेरे पास सब कुछ तो है, मैं अंदर तंदूर भी लगा लेता हूँ, नान भी सेक लूंगा. कितना मुश्किल है.
सही बात है.
बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटीज भी तो है.
हाँ.
और कितने कंजम्पशन है नॉर्थ इंडियन फूड की. बट ऐसे नहीं होता है. Until unless you realize this early in your life कि niche down, this was my decision back in 2014 कि we can't do everything. Until and unless we niche down, आपको कहीं कट लग गया या पेट में दर्द है, आप फिजिशियन के दिखाया होगे. आपके घर में टचवुड कभी किसी को हो ना, लेकिन अगर उसको चेस्ट में पेन है, आप सेटल करोगे किसी छोटे कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट के लिए. फाइंड द बेस्ट ऑफ द कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट. और फिर आप फीस की चिंता नहीं करोगे. फिर आप ये नहीं देखोगे अरे 500 लेता है या 1000 लेता है, अरे 5000 लेता है. जान प्यारी है ना.
राइट.
People who are serious about branding, they go for branding agencies. Otherwise तो I know digital marketing agencies जो लोगों फ्री में देती हैं साथ में.
हमें भी मिला है.
तो अगर आप न्यू क्लासिकल में नीच डाउन कर रहे हो तो जिसको न्यू क्लासिकल ही चाहिए, he will pay.
राइट.
और जिसको नहीं चाहिए, it's okay, he was never your client. वो आप जनरलाइज भी कर लो तो भी नहीं आएगा.
दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
क्योंकि कभी भी सारे क्लाइंट्स तो आप केटर कर ही नहीं सकते ना. और डिजाइन में कन्वर्जन रेट भी कम होता है. लीड टू कन्वर्जन रेशियो इज वेरी वेरी लो इन डिजाइन. यू माइट गेट 100 रेफरेंसेज बट यू विल ओनली बी कन्वर्ट नॉट मोर देन 3 and 4 people from those 100.
After a point you have to decide.
नाउ द पॉइंट कम्स ऑफ पोजिशनिंग की आप बात कर रहे हो. आउटकम नहीं डिराइव करते लोग कि मेरे डिजाइन करने से आपको टैंजिबल आउटकम क्या होगा. ब्रांडिंग के टैंजिबल आउटकम्स क्या होते हैं?
बिजनेस ग्रोथ.
बिजनेस ग्रोथ इज डिफाइंड बाय
सेल्स. पैसा.
तो आप कहना चाहते हो कि कोई भी जना लोगो बना देगा तो सेल्स बढ़ जाएगी फौरन?
बिल्कुल नहीं.
नहीं होगा ना ऐसा. This is where the gap lies. And this is where the experience matters. You have to define कि मेरे ये काम करने से आपको ये वैल्यू मिलेगी. आप अभी एस्थेटिक्स में ही खेल रहे हो. क्यों आपको न्यू क्लासिकल क्यों कराना है? क्योंकि आपका मन है. आपका मन क्यों है? क्योंकि आप यूएस के किसी रिलेटिव के गए थे, उसके आपने नेक्स्ट डोर एक मैंशन देख लिया था, आपको लगा कि मैं ऐसा कुछ बनवाऊंगा इसलिए न्यू क्लासिकल बनवा रहा हूँ. बट यू नेवर ग्रिल डाउन टू द फैक्ट कि वो जरूरत भी है और वो सस्टेनेबल भी है या नहीं है.
This is true actually. Recently we did a project, a small gold shop है मध्य प्रदेश छोटे शहर में. बट जब उसने करा लिया इंटीरियर हमसे, ही कॉल्ड अस, ही सेड कि हमारी ग्रोथ 50% बढ़ चुकी है, कस्टमर आने लग गए हैं.
ये केस स्टडी आपने कहाँ डाली है?
नहीं डाली.
कैसे पता चलेगा आपके क्लाइंट को?
हाँ.
पोजिशनिंग यही है. कैन यू नॉट पोजिशन योरसेल्व्स दैट maybe I'm not saying it will be too much niche down, but helping retail showrooms in small towns to 2x their sales? Would that not change every game? Every single lead that you will receive is now aiming for something.
Right.
Right now, you are just saying we are a young architecture firm with young people working in it.
I'm thinking about it.
It's okay. My sessions are like that. People are often silent.
We will need 3-4 podcasts with you.
No, I'll not give any more ideas for free. You have to attend forward 24/7 and make sure you make 50 people attend it. We could have done it for free, but the whole idea is people never value free. So we thought of putting a minimum charge to it, as small as 999 maybe, because that's what you spend even when you go out in cafes. 2,000, 3,000 rupees is average bill that you pay. The whole idea is not to make money out of it. The whole idea is people should be accountable for it, and they respect when they pay.
Right.
They receive value.
अच्छा नहीं लगता लोग को.
And we give lifetime value to this. People who attend 24/7s are added to me in their group. Every now and then I receive their queries and I solve them regularly, and I make sure I answer to all of them. हो सकता है 2 दिन बाद हो, 3 दिन बाद हो, कुछ मेरे अर्जेंट चीज़ें हों, लेकिन आई मेक श्योर आई आंसर टू ऑल ऑफ देम. कभी भी फंस जाते हैं किसी क्लाइंट के यहाँ, दे ऑलवेज कॉल, दे ऑलवेज मैसेज.
So be ready.
So yeah, this business thing is also something, because होता क्या है, जितने भी आप देखोगे ना, सच बात ये है, business coach and designs, they are already very few, and primarily they are in US. And Indian scenarios do not work like US scenarios. They don't. You can't even bluntly ask those type of questions to your client. Client is sitting with a fragile ego. He'll kick you out. तो होता कौन है मुझसे पूछने वाला कि मेरी टर्नओवर कितनी है?
आपका बजट कितना है?
आपका बजट कितना है?
We are also
In India, we live in a scenario जहाँ पे सबकी timeline is yesterday already और budget is negative. कह रहे पैसे तो है ही नहीं, आप काम करके दे जाओ पैसे हमें.
तिजोरी बनाना, उसमें कुछ डाल के भी जाना.
हाँ.
Right.
तो US business coaches, yes, I'm not saying they are incorrect, but they are not relevant in Indian business scenarios. अभी मैंने रिसेंटली एक पोस्ट डाला था, सो एंड आई ऑल्सो लर्न फ्रॉम कम्युनिटी. दिस वॉज एन आइडिया ऑफ अ कम्युनिटी मेंबर ओनली, दैट व्हाई डोंट यू स्टार्ट अ इंस्टाग्राम पेज ऑफ बिजनेस कोच फॉर डिजाइनर्स करके. एंड आई जस्ट थॉट अ लॉट अबाउट इट. आई सेड व्हाई नॉट, maybe I can just put my thoughts there
right.
in order to. And I recently started, I've got some good 20 followers there. It's just 2 posts out, and this is a couple of weeks back only I started. So I was just, a recent post I did, it was around कि यार हमारे फर्स्ट डिग्री रिलेटिव्स, हमारे चाचा जी मामा जी को ही नहीं पता हम क्या कर रहे हैं.
हाँ, राइट.
हाउ डू वी एक्सपेक्ट रेफरेंसेस टू कम इन? उनका बेस्ट फ्रेंड किसी और को हायर करके किसी और पे इतना पैसा इन्वेस्ट करके गलत चीज बनवा के चला गया. एंड देन वी टॉक अबाउट मार्केटिंग.
घर पे तो बता नहीं पा रहे हो. Right.
Understand, if you can't make your relatives understand, or if you can't blow your trumpet, it is very very sad situation.
अभी मेरे भाई की शादी थी. I was the brand ambassador there. She also came there. सिर्फ हमने वही बताया.
What's the shame? If I'm doing a business, if I'm a small business, I need all the possible support.
Right.
And even if I'm a big business, I need all the possible support
to sustain.
What is the harm? You need a service, I provide that service, then why should I not? Or maybe you might not directly need it. You might have a reference. You also have your network. Imagine if each individual know 10 individual closely, then the amount of people you told in your cousin's wedding or your brother's wedding into 10. How many people now know about your service?
100.
You just didn't tell to 10 people. You told to a lot more people than 10 people.
Right.
So it's a simple game. It's fairly simple game. You have to be vocal for yourself. Even before going vocal for local, be vocal for yourself. Just a question, think about it. Within this JP Greens, how many people know that you exist? Or an architecture firm exists? Not as an individual, but there's an architecture firm who can do wonders.
बहुत कम लोग.
Does it not bother you?
It bothers us.
So should focus on first degree connections, local area, businesses around us. We're just not looking at it. We are just waiting कि कोई
आ जाएगा.
कोई हमारी वेबसाइट पे वो एक फॉर्म भर देगा, हम उसके लिए 10 यस सर कर देंगे, बट हम अपना प्रॉपरली बताएंगे नहीं लोगों को. Go on a walk in an evening, tell everybody you meet that this is what I do. Why not?
Sure. आप करेंगे. तो दिस इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सर. मतलब आप जो बोल रहे हैं वो कई बार हमने बात करी है करने का, ऐसा करना चाहिए वैसा करना चाहिए, फिर भी उसको नहीं कर पाते. मतलब आई थिंक एग्जीक्यूशन भी इज द की रोल है वहाँ पे.
I don't think we talk about it enough क्योंकि ये normalize भी नहीं है.
हाँ.
हमारे आसपास मतलब हम जहाँ से आते हैं, the background that we have, they are still uncomfortable about the fact that we run a business in the first place. तो वो चीज़ भी एक बहुत बड़ी बात हो जाती है.
It's okay.
Definitely, मतलब
हाँ.
like we fight with it every day.
Yeah.
हाँ. You just have to be total बेशरम. भाई ये है. This is what I do. I need business. You might not need business. हो सकता है आपके पास हो बहुत पैसे. I don't know. I don't care. मुझे मेरा काम चाहिए.
Right.
Why not? And till date, I don't hesitate people to tell, have you still followed our designers? I don't. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि वो एक फॉलोअर से मेरे को फर्क पड़ेगा, लेकिन उस एक फॉलोअर से बहुत फर्क पड़ता है. It matters.
उस बंदे के दिमाग में बस
It matters. I don't hesitate. I message to, you will be surprised, on my LinkedIn I have biggest of the IAS, biggest of the CEOs, global CEOs connected. I shamelessly tell them, this is what I do. If you ever have a query or a need, feel free to connect. Why not? If I keep on waiting कि कोई मेरा bio पढ़ेगा, किसी दिन खोलेगा, how many times do you visit somebody's bio specially to give him a business? You don't. And what is top of the mind recall? Top of the mind recall is something that immediately strikes when a need arises. And how will that happen? That will happen when somebody knocks your mind repeatedly. And that is why we remember Nirma ke jingles and all other older advertisements.
Airtel.
Yeah, even Lifebuoy ka tera sabun slow hai, because it has knocked our brains so many times. In world of social media में लगता है हर दिन नया पोस्ट बना दो, कुछ नहीं होगा उससे.
Right.
कुछ भी नहीं होगा. How many times have you purchased किसी का हैप्पी रक्षाबंधन का पोस्ट देख के, अरे वाह इसने अच्छा राखी का पोस्ट डाला है, चलो इसका सामान खरीदते हैं. कभी नहीं होगा.
लोग को लगने लग गया है कि इंस्टाग्राम पे डेली रील बनाओ, ये करो तो बिजनेस चलेगा, बट उसमें बहुत एक नीश ऑडियंस है ना, जेंजी होगा जो मेन आपकी ऑडियंस जो पैसा देने वाली वो तो है नहीं उस पर. वो तो
ऐसा नहीं है. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो उस पर नहीं है, बिकॉज I'm touching 40. My mom, dad are 65, 6 something. They still scroll Instagram and Facebook.
now they
वो जनता है. जनता है. और आपको जितनी चाहिए उतनी तो है ही है. आपको 150 करोड़ नहीं चाहिए.
फैक्ट. हमें तो 100 ही मिल जाए बहुत है, 150
उतनी मिलेगी. हमने जब स्टार्ट किया था लोगों ने हमें बहुत बोला कि आप रिक्रूटमेंट एजेंसी बना रहे हो, आपको लिंक्डइन पे बनानी चाहिए. व्हाट्स विद द इंस्टाग्राम?
सही बात.
It was a myth buster for people that it is possible.
लिंक्डइन तो ऑलरेडी एक प्लेटफॉर्म है.
And this somehow I do not hesitate to tell Mr. Prateek. He runs a very beautiful venture by the name of Digital Defined. It's free online courses. They're one of the world's largest aggregator of free online courses. He gave us that tip: just invest all your energy, effort, time, money into one platform. Do not go omni platforms. It is only when we grew we looked into others, but we focused on Insta. We focused on Insta like hell. There have been times I have personally replied to 350, 400 messages in a day. in a day.
यू आर राइट. और हमारे जितने भी आसपास के फ्रेंड्स हैं दे नो अबाउट हार्डनेस एक्चुअली.
तो हम लोगों ने we went single platform focused and it was not LinkedIn. The whole idea was do something different. No, LinkedIn पे already है ना. What is the point?
अगर चिल करते हुए एक नौकरी दिख जाए तो उससे अच्छा क्या है.
और chill तो सभी करेंगे ही करेंगे. So you have to find the obvious behavior. This is where branding comes in. That beyond demography, psychography plays a very important role. There where exactly is the mind of your consumer.
Right.
These are the factors that we consider while designing a packaging, whether designing any other identity or any, including the, as small as that we have done. कि when you open a truck door, जब आप किसी ट्रक का डोर खोलते हो तो वहाँ पे कपड़ा लगा हुआ होता है. There is foam and it's covered by a cloth that has to match the brand color. All experiences count and people remember.
थैंक यू सर.
You're welcome.
फॉर कमिंग. ये तो मिनी MBA हो गया मेरे लिए. नेक्स्ट सेमेस्टर नेक्स्ट पॉडकास्ट में करेंगे कंप्लीट. थैंक यू सो मच.
कोई नहीं यार, अब तो ऐसा अभी 24/7 बस फोकस.
रात को डिस्टर्ब नहीं करूँगा आपको. 12 to 6